good with you? It's your boy Travis Kinley coming back to you with another one, and I'm just kicking it in the back of my truck right now. I am just kicking it in the back of my truck right now. This is basically my truck's recliner, right? Working from home right now. Working from home. Today, we're on taxes and Abacus. Let's get it. So first, let's talk taxes, all right? This is a question that I often get from people who are thinking about going lease. How do you handle your taxes? Do your taxes just eat up all of your money? Second, the answer to the second question is no, your taxes don't eat up all your money. The answer to the first question is this. You're going to take an Abacus class. Well, we take an Abacus class. Those who went lease took an Abacus class, and if you go lease, you're going to take an Abacus class. And in that Abacus class, what they're going to explain to you is that there are a few factors that influence how much they suggest that you save for your taxes. Excuse me. One of those factors is what state you live in. Some states have a state tax, others do not, okay? Another factor is, are you married? Another factor is, do you have any dependents that you claim? So basically what's going to happen is they're going to suggest that you save a certain percentage of your net income. Your net, not your gross. Your net, not your gross. You hear me? I don't know if some of y'all remember that from a former video. Your net, not your gross. Your net. What is deposited into your bank account, on your Prime card, whatever the case may be. They're going to suggest that you save a certain percentage. What happened to Travis was they said, we suggest that you save 20 to 25% of your net. What I did instead was save 30%, right? I can be a pretty risky guy, but in the case of taxes, I didn't want to be risky with taxes. Why? Because I didn't want to end up owing thousands of dollars at the end of the year, or quarterly rather. I would rather just have what I need for my quarterly estimate, pay it, and move on. I saved 30% of my net. Now, what ended up happening is that when it came time for my first quarterly estimate, I had exceeded the quarterly estimate by about $4,500. Wowzers, right? $4,500. So that was pretty cool because that's money that I ended up putting toward the business, putting toward some debt. I was able to use that money and repurpose it for other things. So that's that. If you want to do that. I survived just fine by setting aside 30%. Now what I'm doing is sometimes I'll do 22%, sometimes I'll do 23%. When it was time for me to pay my quarterly estimate, I should have said that first. When it was time for me to pay my quarterly estimate, I paid 200% of the estimate. So I just basically doubled the number and I paid the estimate. So I paid the estimate times 2. I just wanted to cover myself. The estimate was so low, I felt really kind of curious and skeptical. So I just paid twice the amount that they told me to. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm saving 22 to 23% of my net. If you're not familiar with that, all you do is take your net, whatever was deposited into your bank account. If it's $1,200, take $1,200, pull out a calculator, take $1,200 and multiply that by 0.23 for 23%, by 0.22 for 22%, by 0.30, 0.3 or 0.30 for 30%, and so on. And there you have it. All right. One thing I wanted to mention. I don't have an emergency fund. For those who are not familiar, there's a way you can save money at Prime through an emergency fund. It's just like a bank account that doesn't accrue interest at Prime, and you can use it to pay for your truck when you go negative, or some people save their taxes in there. I don't use an emergency fund. I just have my bank accounts. I have 2 business checking and savings. And I just save for my taxes in my business savings. And my business checking is my operating fund, and also further savings, save for a rainy day or something of that nature. So it is, you might say you keep your savings with your operating fund. Yeah, because I don't really use much of I don't use my operating fund for anything except a rainy day or purchasing something that the truck needs. I'm not really one to spend. I don't need to ball out and buy a bunch of stuff or whatever. So I try to keep I don't want my business checking account to drop below $8,000. I might increase that to $10,000 here soon. Nevertheless, right now, $8,000 is my limit. I don't want it to drop below $8,000. Now I'll let it go above, of course. But I don't want it to drop below $8,000. And then in my business savings, I save for taxes. So then every estimate, I'll pay my estimate, and whatever's left over, I'll put that back in checking. I'll leave like $1,000 in business savings, and then I'll just continue that process. All right, so that's how I do that. I keep the separate bank accounts. I hope this is supposed to be in this series. I'm pretty sure it is. I keep the separate bank accounts because I never want the money I'm supposed to be saving for my taxes to be in the same bank account that, you know, I would use to buy a pair of shoes. Or I don't want the money I save for my taxes to be in the same bank account that I would use to buy a new laptop, a personal laptop, or a laptop for my wife, right? I'm the type to compartmentalize. I don't want things blurred. That over there, that goes over there, right? So when I get paid, I take the net times 0.23, 0.24, whatever I feel like doing that particular week. I put that in business savings. I calculate how much I'm going to pay myself personally. I transfer that to my personal checking, and then my bride will handle the accounting at the house. I take everything else and I put it in business checking. And I tithe. I have a friend who's a pastor of a church. I tithe to his church. So I take my personal percentage of my net, and then I give on the website, and then that's it. And then I usually lay down and go to sleep because I stayed up all night waiting to see it drop into drop my settlement on the Prime website, because I'm one of those guys. Some weeks, most weeks. Okay, so that's taxes. Let me cover Abacus real fast. You talk to prime truckers, and some people are going to talk great about Abacus and some people are not. I don't have a problem with Abacus. One reason I like Abacus is because of the convenience. They are located inside Prime. I can walk in their office. The settlements, they can receive the information from my settlements. So I don't have to send anything to them weekly. I don't have to forward any emails. I don't have to take pictures of receipts and scan them, anything of that nature. Do they charge that? Well, but they charge so much in order to prepare your taxes at the end of the year. Well, everybody's going to charge something. No one's going to prepare your taxes for free, right? Oh, but they charge you this, this, and that. Listen, what Abacus charges me is reasonable. I pay $50 every quarter for the quarterly estimate. I believe it's $400 to prepare taxes at the end of the year. And maybe it's $15 a week or something for their services. Something around there, 10, 15 bucks a week. I'm not breaking the bank by paying Abacus. And I'm pretty certain they know what they're doing. Prime's a successful company. Clearly, I don't really need to explain that. I mean, what Lil Wayne said was understood doesn't have to be explained, right? It is understood that Prime is one of the best mega carriers out there, okay? Some people talk trash, but it speaks for itself, okay? If Prime trusts Abacus, I feel like I can trust Abacus, all right? I turn in my expense report monthly. I'll cover the expense report. My expense report is basically a report on everything that I spent money on that has to do with the business that can be deducted on a later date. If I bought fuel with my business debit card, like from my business checking account, that's a deductible. I have a business cell phone, deductible. I have a mobile hotspot that I use in the truck, deductible. I bought my CB radio, that was a deductible. What else? I'm trying to think. When I have to go to a CAT scale and weigh the truck and trailer, it's $12.50. That's a deductible. I think it's $3 or $3.50 or something like that for a reweigh. Like I weighed it and then I slid my tandems to distribute the weight differently. I have to weigh it again to make sure I'm legal. That's a deductible. If I pay out of pocket for a truck wash, to wash the truck, that's a deductible. If I pay out of pocket for a hotel room while my truck's getting repaired, that's a deductible. All of that I put on the expense report, and I'll try to remember to put a picture of the expense report on the screen so you can I'll try to replace it right here in this video with my face, replace my face with the expense report so you can kind of see. We'll see how it works. I don't know. If you didn't see the expense report, that means it did not work out very well. Nevertheless, you have one sheet. It's a Microsoft Excel sheet. It's one sheet per month. You just fill it out as you go. You are There's a deductible of $55 for every day that you're working as well on your taxes. At the end of the month, you put how many days you were out on the road at the top left-hand corner, and then you email that to them once a month. At the beginning of the month, you email it to them. So I'll probably email it to them, you know, by the time you see this video, it's the beginning of May. I just emailed it to them a little while ago. I do that every month, and then at the end of the quarter, they send me my quarterly estimate, you know, and then I pay my quarterly estimate and I go on about my business. I try to keep everything as simple as possible and just have systems in my life that run things. That way I can just drive the truck, worry about freight and maintenance and things of that nature. I don't have a problem with Abacus. I'm also a rookie. You can chalk it up to that, but there's a whole lot of people who are not rookies that pay for services from Abacus. They're professionals. I don't think they're, you know, jerking me around, and they deal with truckers, you know? So it's like, why go to some, you know, I don't know. That's just my personal choice. I don't have an issue with Abacus. All right. So that's how the whole taxes thing works. You know, if you watch my last video, let's just do the calculation real fast. All right. I don't really mind. I tied 10%, right? So let's say I made 3,500 bucks. I'll take 3,500 times point. Let's do 2.4. 3,500. So it's 840 is what I put in my business savings. So 3,500 minus 840 equals 2,660 minus $350. That's 10% of my net to give to I tied to a church, right? Equals, I'm at 2,310 now, and now I take 2,310, I pay myself, and then I save the rest in the business, right? If my business checking account is at a place, like I told you, I like to keep it at 8,000. If I see it's at like 9,400 bucks, and I might give all of that to the house this week, right? It's not bad. It's not bad pay for 1 week of work. For 7 days. Who else is going to pay you $2,300 for 7 days worth of work? And you're a rookie, right? So I don't know. That's just me, I guess. Maybe other folks got it like that. I don't. All right. So that's taxes, really. Your quarterly estimate, you just pay quarterly instead of, you have the option to pay quarterly, biannually, or annually. I'm choosing quarterly I told you, I like to play it safe, and then at the end of the year, you do your taxes. They take what you paid, and then they balance the accounts. They settle the account, and they either pay you money or they tell you what you owe. And that's how it works. Abacus, it just, you know, they see your settlement. They project your income, and that's really how it works. That's really it, folks. Really not much to say about that. Okay, really excited for the next 2 episodes specifically. I'm just trying to offer information, especially answering questions that are commonly asked. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments. Listen, if you're thinking about going lease, you can talk to me about it. I'm pretty fresh in the experience. If I can't answer the question, I will direct you in the direction of someone who can. Listen, if you're thinking about coming to Prime, I want you as my referral. My driver code is KINTRA. If you want to talk about it, contact me. My email is below in the description. My cell phone number, my business cell phone number is below in the description. Contact me. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to try to sell you on something that I don't believe is for you. If you tell me you want to be home every other week, I'm going to let you know that ain't going to happen at Prime. You need to go find you another company. But maybe you want to hear about it, whatever. Talk to me. I want you as my referral. Driver code is KINTRA. KINTRA. All right. Look, find you somebody to love. I love y'all. Don't forget, it's not about what you believe. It is why you believe it. And live free.